Welcome to today's Explainer. We're doing something a little different today. We're actually going on a treasure hunt. But look, we aren't searching for pirate gold or ancient artifacts. No, we're looking at a deeply modern treasure that's buried right beneath our feet. It's a treasure that's silently dictating the entire future of global tech and clean energy. We're talking about rare earth elements, and more specifically, a massive, hidden, and largely untapped reserve sitting right in Thailand. Grab a seat, because we're going to dive into exactly what's at stake here.
First up, Section 1, the modern world's treasure.
So, to understand why global superpowers are basically tripping over themselves in Southeast Asia right now, we first need to look at the invisible power driving our entire modern way of life. Just think about the device that's probably sitting in your pocket right now, or the screen you're literally using to watch this explainer. Do you know what's actually hiding inside that smartphone? It's not just glass, plastic, and everyday metal. There is a secret ingredient in there that makes all that high-tech magic happen.
And honestly, it's crazy how dependent we are on these elements. Smartphones, laptops, those electric vehicles you see everywhere now, LED lighting, and the massive batteries we desperately need for clean energy storage, every single one of these relies absolutely on a very specific group of elements. I mean, without them, our big transition to a high-tech, green energy future, it just stops dead in its tracks. No way around it.
So what is this secret ingredient? Well, we call them rare earth elements, or REEs, a specialized group of 17 critical elements. If you want to dig back into your high school chemistry, it's the 15 lanthanides plus scandium and yttrium. Now, here's a fun fact. Despite the name rare, they aren't necessarily super scarce in the Earth's crust. But finding them clustered together in concentrations high enough and easy enough to actually mine profitably, now that is incredibly rare. And that right there is the whole geopolitical chessboard of today, where superpowers like the US, China, and Europe are in an absolute sprint to secure these minerals.
Which brings us to Section 2, treasures under Thai soil.
And here's the wild twist in all of this. This global treasure, it isn't just locked away in some distant frozen tundra or a vast empty desert. A really significant chunk of it is right here in Southeast Asia, specifically under Thai soil. I absolutely love this quote from Assistant Professor Dr. Alongkot Phangka over at Chulalongkorn University's Department of Geology. He says, "Foreigners are knocking on our door saying, 'In your house, there is treasure.'" It's such a perfect metaphor, right? The major global players already know what Thailand is sitting on. They're eyeing these untapped geological vaults, realizing the country has a strategic asset of massive global importance. The real question Dr. Alongkot is getting at is, do the people actually living in the house realize how much wealth is hidden in their own basement?
And the thing is, it's not even just rare earth elements down there. The ground beneath Thailand is packed with a whole suite of other critical components for advanced tech. We're talking lithium, nickel, and cobalt, which are huge for batteries, plus tin, tungsten, and copper. These are literally the building blocks of the modern industrial revolution. But make no mistake, the rare earth elements remain the crown jewels. Let's look at exactly how this map of buried treasure actually plays out.
Let's dig into Section 3, 3 rare earth formations.
Okay, so how exactly is this wealth stored? You might be picturing one giant, sparkling cave just waiting to be scooped up, but it's a bit more complicated than that. Based on some pretty intense academic research, scientists have mapped out 3 distinct geological vaults in Thailand. Number 1, primary REE deposits found in igneous rock. Number 2, placer and heavy minerals. And number 3, ion adsorption clay. Now, each of these has a completely different setup, and way more importantly, totally different levels of difficulty when it comes to actually getting the stuff out of the dirt.
And the difficulty of extraction? It varies wildly. Those primary deposits we mentioned are basically locked inside solid granite rocks stretching all the way from northern to southern Thailand. Getting to them means crushing solid rock, which is hard, incredibly expensive work. Then you've got the placer deposits mixed with heavy metals like tin, which require a fair bit of sorting. But the real game changer here is the ion adsorption clay, found in weathered soil. Why is it so prized? Because over millions of years, nature basically did the crushing and separating for us. The elements are just resting there, absorbed in the soil. This exact geological setup, this easy-to-extract clay, is the primary method China currently uses to completely dominate the global rare earth market. And guess what? Thailand has it too.
And guys, the concentrations we're talking about are nothing to scoff at. In some of those granite formations, researchers found rare earth element levels that are literally 3 to 5 times higher than what you'd normally find in the Earth's crust. That is a massive, highly significant indicator of just how economically potent this ground really is. To really put this into perspective, let's look at the province of Uthai Thani, which brilliantly illustrates just how unique Thailand's geology is. See, Thailand has this really rich history of tin mining. For a long time, they were fierce competitors with Malaysia in exporting tin. Well, it turns out, mixed right in with those old tin deposits is a heavy mineral called allanite. While neighboring countries have traditional rare earth minerals, Thailand is sitting on abundant allanite, which is packed with rare earth elements and is highly unusual to find in such huge quantities anywhere else in the world. So yeah, historical mining waste could literally be tomorrow's high-tech gold mine.
Moving right along to Section 4, Planning for Our Future.
Okay, so the treasure is absolutely there, and trust me, the world wants it. But that brings us to the massive, urgent responsibility of managing this wealth. As it stands right now, there are no official commercial exploration licenses granted to the private sector in Thailand. Almost all the data we have relies entirely on academic research from university geology departments. But let's be real, relying solely on academic data isn't going to cut it when foreign superpowers are knocking on your door. The future absolutely demands comprehensive, official government surveys. You can't effectively negotiate the sale of your treasure if you don't actually know how much of it you have, right? Without cold, hard data, there is a very real risk of selling off these incredibly valuable resources for pennies on the dollar, not to mention risking severe environmental damage in the process.
So action is absolutely critical here. Experts are pushing for 3 immediate steps to get this right. First, get those exact quantity surveys done. Button down the data so you know exactly what you're working with. Second, create multidimensional policies. Thailand's Mineral Act already looks at resources, the environment, society, culture, and health. All those dimensions have to be perfectly balanced. And third, strategize the extraction itself. Maybe they shouldn't mine it all right away. Maybe it makes more sense to keep it as a national reserve until global prices skyrocket or until local extraction tech gets better, ensuring maximum economic benefit with the absolute lowest environmental impact.
But we also have to be really smart about the timing of all this. Because right now, there are virtually no commercially viable substitutes for rare earth elements in our advanced tech. They are simply irreplaceable today. However, human innovation moves insanely fast. Just as we're shifting from coal to clean energy, scientists all over the globe are working around the clock to invent new materials that might eventually replace rare earths. So hoarding the treasure forever might mean totally missing the window of opportunity. It's a super delicate, high-stakes balancing act.
And that brings us to the ultimate question for today's explainer. We know the treasure is right under our feet. The science is totally clear, the geology is confirmed, and global demand is just off the charts. But are we ready to unlock it responsibly? The decisions made today about these 17 hidden elements aren't just going to impact next year's GDP. They are going to shape the environmental and economic legacy left for generations to come. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me. Keep asking those big questions and always keep looking beneath the surface. Catch you next time.